But what we're looking at in regards to networking, when we're talking about my name is intentional, I always encourage individuals when we are having conversations in any particular space is to how do they introduce. I'm going to put this down here at the bottom so I can see it. Maybe not. I'm moving some spaces around up here so I can navigate this a little bit better. That your name is intentional. Using your personal relationships people have with one another to increase our exposure to information and opportunities. And basically, we're just talking about practical principles, just practical. How do we build these relationships? How do we sustain these relationships when we meet new acquaintances? How do we elevate it to the next level? So we're basically going to just have this particular conversation. And if there's anything that you would like to put in the chat, we can also do that as well. So my question is, who's in your network? Who is in your network? Who do you operate with? Who do you connect with on a regular basis that you would like to know more about or have them know more about you? And so when we're talking about what that looks like, we're saying friends and families, your colleagues, and it's not necessarily that because you want to network, you may be getting information about individuals to help a colleague or to help a friend or to help a neighbor or to help a student. So when we're talking about networking, we want to broaden what that particular definition is, not only if it may help you, but also who would you be able to cross paths with that could help someone else along the way? Like I said, whether it's colleagues or neighbors or children or students, what would that look like? So when you talk about who's in your network, if you group them as I have a core of friends that are in the educational background, I have a core of friends who are in engineering, I have a core of friends who like outdoor biking, I have a core of friends who could help me or also could help someone that I connect with. So if you want to even put in the chat, who is in your connection? Who is in your connection? Who are the individuals that you look for? And I see some of us have put our names and our titles in the chat as well. And you never know who is in the room who would be able to help you navigate a space or help you enhance a skill or even help with your professional development. So networking is the full range of not only assisting you in your next level, but also is assisting others in their development as well. So the art of networking. Some of us arrive early just to kind of scope out the place, but it also gives you an opportunity to network with individuals without the crowd there, to just go in and have conversations with the individuals who may have also arrived early to strike up a conversation. Knowing that the particular place that you're going to be in, there's going to be others vying for your attention, but also for the other individuals, you're going to be vying for their attention as well. So I always encourage individuals, if you're going somewhere, to arrive just a little bit early to introduce yourself, but also to see who else is in the room. Now, we have gotten away from business cards, the hard copy. A few of us still carry hard copy business cards. So one of the things that we have with the Division of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion is Dr. Mary Ann V. Laurel. On our business cards, information is also in Braille. And when I have handed a hard copy business card out and it has the Braille writing on it, individuals have said, this is very unique. I never thought about this, but this is definitely a way of being more inclusive by having the information on the card in Braille as well. So depending on what your business card look like, if there's a standard template with the raised letters, however you want to do that, that also gives you the opportunity for individuals to remember who you are as well. One of the things that we do when we hand out a business card is that on the back of the card, this is just a habit that I have implemented, is that I write the date, but I also write something about the person who gave me the business card. So on the back side, I will put June 14th, met at the expo, this person is interested in outdoor Afro. I'm going to connect them with Ashley Cleveland. So depending on the conversation that I had with that individual, depending on what their interests are, I put a little note on the back of their business card so that when I connect with them, I have to remember that although they're shared information, I also want to be able to connect them in what their interests are as well. One of the other things that I have started practicing is that the next day or even within 48 hours, I will send a simple email to that person and say, it was a pleasure meeting with you at the expo. I will remember to connect you with Ashley Cleveland. Hopefully our paths will continue to cross, and just call it a day. I send them a note letting them know that I saw you, I heard you, we can possibly have some connections. So that is like in a 48-hour turnaround that I do that with business cards as well. Another thing that I encourage individuals to do as far as networking is concerned is to volunteer for the theme. If you are hosting an event, if you're hosting a social, a gathering, whatever, volunteer to be part of the planning committee. And the reason that I say that is that if you volunteer to be part of the planning committee, sign up for registration. Sign up for the space that when people come to the event, they are going to see you first. You're going to meet and greet everyone, and then you can have conversations later after registration is done. So I encourage you that if you are planning something with your group or your organization, be part of the planning committee, because that gives you the behind the scenes of who is coming to the event. It gives you their information as far as their background, what their professional levels are. So that gives you the number one seat when you're volunteering to be part of the event itself. That is all part of networking. Now, speaking of business cards, these are electronic business cards now. So now there's the QR code. So this is one of my QR codes that if you snap a picture of this, it will pull up my professional information. So the hi, hello QR code, there's also QR me. You can Google all of those electronic business cards and just add your information. And when someone is at a networking meeting with you and they say, do you have a business card? You simply open it up and say, take a picture. And then their information, your information is automatically transferred to their phone. It's an easy way to just be up to date with not having to have a hard business card, but having your information that you will want to share with that. So paper cards or electronic cards are definitely something that you can take advantage of using on that. So now we're talking about the art of connecting. When you're looking at going to a networking opportunity, I would encourage people to at least get to have conversation with 3 individuals. Give yourself a specific number of people you will interact with. There are days that when I go to these type of events, when I know it has been one of those days where there's been back-to-back meetings or presentations or conversations, and I say, at least I'm going to meet 3 people, and then I'm going to excuse myself from the space. There is just so much information that we can absorb in a single setting. So if you're talking about, I'm going to meet 1 person, I'm going to meet 2 people, I'm going to at least meet 3 people, you can set that number there, and then you can just enjoy the rest of the event with that part. I also say to individuals that you are the expert, that you are the expert in your field, in your profession. And sometimes we look to others to give us information that we are equipped with sharing ourselves. So if you want to try out in your group, I'm not sure how many individuals are on that, but if you say next week that you want to meet with everyone on this particular group right here, you're going to do a networking event and you're going to talk about how to maintain your garden, or how to do rock climbing, or how to do, if you have a passion for that, you are the expert. So that is a way of also understanding what does it mean to connect with other individuals when I am networking in this environment. I'm going to host a networking and we're going to talk about this particular topic as well. And then as far as the follow-up is concerned, as I mentioned earlier, that you can send a quick email out to individuals. Thank you for the conversation. I look forward to our paths continue to cross. And you never know what that connection may bring. You never know that because you took the time to have that conversation, that that individual is also going to reach out to you because of your profession or also because of your interest as well as the passions that you may have. So meet at least 3 people, host your own networking event, but then also follow up with those that cross paths with you. So what does social media look like? I mean, it has pretty much taken over our lives when we look at how individuals connect with us. And the one thing that we know is that people follow you on social media. They follow you on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. And I have been contacted several times from individuals on one of my social media platforms to have a conversation with them or to provide a resource for them as well. So if you are using your social media platforms, it also opens the doors for those connections as well. When we're talking about mentors and mentees, if you are a mentor, if you are a mentee, my question is, how are you elevating not only your skills, but the skills of others? And sometimes we are mentors in an informal way. No one has really asked us to be a mentor, but they are watching what we do, watching what we say, watching how we respond in situations. So there is some behind the scenes of mentoring, even though you may not know that you are being a mentor for someone. But then also, who are you mentoring? Who are you coaching? Who are you helping to build their skills as well? Someone may come to you and say, I like the way that you negotiate in difficult conversation. That is a skill that I am lacking. Can you help navigate that space with me? Someone will notice that you have a particular skill that they are wanting to enhance for themselves. And that is also a part of networking as well as connecting. But then expanding your lane. How do you share your talents? How do you share your contacts? How do you share the work that you do to help others? Knowing that if you're helping someone else be successful, that you are not keeping score, that you are helping the team grow, but you're also helping an individual grow. So when I talk with you about how do you expand your lane, when you think about who is in your network of influences, are they the same individuals that have your same background, your same education, your same experience? Who are the individuals in your lane that may be different from you, that come from a different background or a different language or a different experience? How do you expand your lane so that you are networking with individuals who may not have the same thought process as you, but you are also learning and expanding your leadership skills by increasing those that come from different backgrounds as well. So utilizing your social media platforms, understanding that you are mentoring someone, whether it is an official mentee or not, someone is watching and seeing what you're doing, but also expanding your lane of individuals that you can connect with. What does your LinkedIn profile look like? Does everyone have a LinkedIn profile uh, space where you tell your professional story? You can put that in the chat if you like, or you can just raise your hand on the reactions on this space here. But your LinkedIn profile definitely opens doors for individuals to connect with you. One of the things that I find so amazing at the University of Utah of all of the resources that they have. A few months ago, they had posted that if you want a professional headshot done on Wednesdays, come to the Marriott Library. We have students who are toning their photography skills, and they will take a professional headshot for you. And I thought, I probably need another headshot for my LinkedIn profile. I haven't made it to the library yet, but I just want to know that there are resources available that if we're saying I don't have a professional headshot, now you know that the Marriott Library on Wednesdays have students who are taking pictures to create a professional headshot for you. So your LinkedIn profile is also one of these social media platforms that opens doors for individuals. If you comment on a story or an article that someone has posted on LinkedIn, then that creates a following for you as well. If you post something, that creates a following for you as well. And I'm just going to show you, that's my LinkedIn profile shot. That's what I look like if someone Googles me, Emma E. Houston, on a LinkedIn profile. Someone took this picture a few years ago and I just have maintained it. As you can see, it needs to be updated. But your LinkedIn profile highlights your personality. It is your pitch, your professional, your personal, your private. What is it that you want the world to know about you in order to enlarge your territory, expand your lane, get to know individuals in a particular field. It also adds credibility as it relates to your skills. That people see this on LinkedIn and there's a sense of trust that if you have a particular following, that you may also be contacted to talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion, or something in the health field. It also shows what you can achieve for others. There is a list of what your credentials are, what your past performances are, who you have worked with. It gives you that opportunity to showcase and to highlight what you do in your professional, but also in your private life as well. And LinkedIn helps you get found. On this next slide, I'm going to show you a couple of pictures of folks who found me to get some things that they needed me to help them with. And it also gets people to act. LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to put forth a call to action. So this link here at the bottom, 20 steps to a better LinkedIn profile. Like I said, I will send this to Dr. Lopez and she can share that with you. And if you're looking at updating your profile on LinkedIn, that will give you some tips on that as well. So this picture here, this collage of photos, I have done a few things with the Huntsman Cancer Institute, and this is an event here and an event here with the Dalai Lama. And so I was contacted by Huntsman to say, listen, we got the Dalai Lama here. You have done some things with the Huntsman Cancer Institute. Would you like to meet the Dalai Lama? Of course, I said yes. Who says no to that type of invitation? So I said yes and had the opportunity to have conversation with the Dalai Lama, with other members in the community. This here is when President Biden was Vice President Biden. And it was also a Huntsman conversation where we were invited to be in this space. I sat on the panel with the then Vice President to talk about Cancer Initiative, being a survivor and having received treatments at Huntsman Cancer Institute. What I know about networking is this: you get the opportunity that individuals will invite you to do something. There's always that pause of hesitation to say, do I have the skills? Do I have the ability? Do I have the credentials? My thought is this: when someone has invited me, they have already Googled me. They have already checked out my credentials. So the answer will be yes. And then I will figure out exactly what is it you want me to do? What is the audience? What message do you want me to deliver there? On this particular picture here, with the gentleman standing there smiling. You can see President Lincoln on a banner there. This is on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. Mr. Huntsman asked me to go there and deliver a speech and accept an award for him. And I said, yes, absolutely, I will do that. So when we're talking about networking, you never know who is in the room, who is listening to you, who is having conversations with you, who is maybe eavesdropping on your conversation, who is ready to provide an opportunity for you to expand your opportunities for leadership and development. On this particular photo here, you can see this is John Lewis, Congressman John Lewis. So whenever there's an opportunity to be in a space, this is one of the three people. I said, okay.
Recording in progress.
Congressman Lewis is going to be in this space. I'm going to make it my personal intention to meet with him, to have conversation with him, to share space with him. So when we think about who is going to be in the room, you never know who is in the room that you will cross paths with that's going to elevate you to the next level. So networking is all about connecting and elevating your leadership skills and your connections in the community, not only to help yourself, but to help the organization that you work with, to help family members, to help colleagues, to help students as well. On this particular welcome to From Day One, I was contacted on LinkedIn, and Melissa called me to say that they were bringing their conference to the city of Salt Lake. And would I be on a panel to talk about equity, diversity, and inclusion? Now, Melissa lives in Cincinnati. I live in Utah. We have never met. So the fact that she Googled individuals who maybe have a background in equity, diversity, and inclusion, she saw my profile, she read my credentials, she invited me to be on a panel. So we're talking about, you never know who is watching you, either physically watching you or virtually watching you, which can be a little scary, but I'm just saying there are benefits to being watched as well. So the art of contributing, when we think about this, how do you contribute to the space that you're in? How do you contribute to the success of your team members? And networking can help develop that as well. First impressions, tell people who you are. When you walk into a room, this is what I say to everyone. When you walk into the space, you own the space. When you walk into any space, you own that space, that you are supposed to be there, that there is a purpose for you being invited. There's a purpose for you registering to attend that event. There is a purpose, even if it's for you just to be seen, even if it's for you to meet three individuals, even if it's just for you to navigate the space and see who else is there. First impressions when you walk into the space is that you own that particular space. How do you describe yourself? How do you describe yourself? Whenever I am meeting anyone, I say my first and last name. Good afternoon, Emma Houston. Good afternoon, Emma Houston. There may be 5 other Emmas in that space. I make it a point to say my first and last name. When I am doing presentations and I introduce myself, I say my first and last name. When I close the presentation, I remind people, and I am Emma E. Houston, Assistant Vice President, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, and Chief Diversity Officer. It has been a pleasure to be in your space. So how do you introduce yourself? How do you become a storyteller? How do you say in 5 to 10 words who you are so that people remember who you are? And then we're talking about our skills. We know that our hard skills are obtained through education and our experience and trainings and certifications. But we also know that our soft skills are gained through our life experiences, both on and off work, where our empathy and our compassion comes in. So when we're thinking about the art of contributing, remember that you are contributing to the space just by being present. Remember that you are contributing to the space because you are describing who you are and your skills and your abilities and what you offer as well. So when we're talking about the art of contributing, it is encompassing everything that you do, the first impression when people see you, or even when people hear you speak. You have created that as to who you are, and you get to tell them, you get to create your narrative of who you are in those particular spaces. This particular slide, as I had said on a previous slide, from day one that Melissa had contacted me from Cincinnati. And this was their shows that they were producing in early March. And I sat on the panel on the activity that was on March 14th. But when you look at this particular organization and you see where they are doing conversations out there, my question is, would you apply to be on one of these panels? They reached out to me. I did not apply, but if there is something that shows up of conferences that are being held in the city, in the community, would you Google them to say, I am interested in family caregiving. I have a passion for that. I am going to reach out. I am either going to register or I'm going to offer my expertise and I'm going to say, invite me to be on your panel. So when you look about what is going on, networking is far reaching. It is not just what happens here in the state of Utah, but it's also what comes to the state of Utah as well. So I got the opportunity to sit on that panel in March. So this is going to be a quick recap, on showing up. You simply get to show up. That's step one. You show up, you interact, you learn more, you share your expertise, but you also listen to what is being said with the individuals who are participating in this event, but you also are kind of eavesdropping on the other conversations as well. Because like I say, you never know who is in the space that's going to help elevate you to the next space or who you may elevate to the next level as well. Step two, have a plan. Prepare your thoughts and talking points will make you feel more at ease. I know sometimes, and I listen, I want you to believe this. I am an introvert. Believe that. Believe that. I have learned how to navigate that extrovert environment. But if I could just go to a space, sit in a corner, and just observe the space, I would be happy. But I have learned that in order to go to the next level, in order to connect, in order to contribute, I need to get beyond my introvert level and meet individuals, because I am there to not only gain a perspective, but I'm also learning to be there to help others that cross my path as well. So in step three, follow up. Remind those you met who you are and what you have to offer. That is all about networking. That is all about connecting. That is all about contributing. People want to know who you are. They want to be able to have conversations with you. They want to be able to move to the next level with the expertise that you bring when we're in these networking sessions. So we're talking about networking. We're talking about showing up. We're talking about having a plan, but we're also talking about what does it look like to follow up as well. Questions, comments, feedback. That's what I got for you today. That's what I have for you today. So I am going to stop sharing. I know I went through that really quickly, but like I said, I will definitely share this link, this presentation with you, and you can use pieces in that benefits you on that part, but also have a conversation with the individuals on this on this group right here to say, let's test out some networking. Let's have some conversation. What is your passion? What is your gift? How can we have conversation of elevating that to the next space? I'd like for you to mentor me, or I'd like for you to elevate and coach me to the next level. That is what networking is about, is making those connections and also contributing to the success of the organization or the team that you have passions for as well. So Dr. Yvette Lopez, again, thank you for this invitation. As you know, I'm in
so
Houston.
good.
And I am happy to answer any questions that you may have, or just hang out or give you the rest of the space for your time.
No. We I'm sure we have questions
Okay.
Or comments, because I'm looking at some of these names of people that have been around and know how to do this very essential work, which is connecting in this era, connecting with the challenges and advantages too, with all these stuff that we have and we are able to use. I often tell my daughter that I remember when I went to college and there were two phones, one in either side of the dorm, and we would just basically, hound each other to get off the phone because I needed to get on. And so now you are giving me a QR code, which I saved, thank you very much, to my contacts. And so wow, right? And this is in one lifetime, and I'm not that old, for your information. So 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 comment on that, through the years and through all the changes of things that are available to us, apps and things of that nature. what remains basic and what is like, hey, this is a good thing that we have now?
I think it all depends on your comfort level. I carry a hard copy of my business card, but I also carry the electronic copy because the generations, when I say let's expand your lane, our younger generation, they will not take a hard copy business card from me. They will say, Miss Emma, show me your QR code, and they will snap a picture and they will save it in their phone. So it depends on the audience that you're with, at the technology level, the comfort level. But we are moving in this wave of technology that pretty much hard copy anything is going by the wayside. So if you have that ability to create that space for you, you will get a nod up from several of our younger professionals who say, all right, give me your QR code. And we will know exactly what they're talking about. I got a QR code. And if not, they will help you install a QR code on your phone. They will do that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's a way to connect with that younger generation
It
who
definitely.
has never seen a Rolodex. Anywho, Dr. Sunwell, you have a question.
I just want to compliment you. This was such an upbeat, positive presentation. My gosh, it was just really enlightening to me. I'm an old timer, and I've been accused of knowing everybody, and that's not far from the truth, because I've been around networking in Washington and here in Utah, and I can tell you it pays off. Just like you said, you have no idea what connections might happen, but opportunities have come my way over the years because of people I knew. I'll just tell you one quickly recently, which was helpful. I had a scribe at the Malahi Clinic where I work as a family doctor, volunteer, and he's applying for medical school. And he wants to go back to Maine because he's used to be on the U.S. ski team, and he had lived there and wanted to go there again. Well, it so happens that my good friend, Dr. Dora Mills, who was the health officer there when I was in Utah, her sister's now the governor of Maine. We didn't expect that. But anyhow, I just asked her if she would feel comfortable facilitating this fellow getting an interview at the medical school there in Portland. And she did. And by darn, he got in. And he's confident, he's convinced that that connection made a difference. So I'm just an example of how over time we make friends and hopefully not too many enemies, but we do get opportunities. And I just thought your presentation was very upbeat. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sunwell. And yes, you do know everybody.
Well, absolutely. Thank you. And as I mentioned, networking is for you, but it's also for those who are in your circle, because you never know, someone will come to you and say, this is what I'm thinking. Do you know, can you help, whatever? And then you say, in my Rolodex, I have this connection. And yes, let's make this introduction. So thank you for doing that for the student. I'm sure that they are grateful for that introduction as well.
I've got to get a QR code. I don't know how to do that.
We will show
we
you.
will get someone. Yeah.
I am sure someone in this group will get that for you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna volunteer Prudy Marinidi to help you with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, Sydney, you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just want to say thank you, Miss Houston, for this amazing presentation. I also identify as an introvert, so hearing how you also are kind of in my realm and you still have this amazing network gives me hope. I just wanted to see if you had any comments on kind of imposter syndrome when it comes to networking, when you go to those conferences and things like that, and how to kind of combat that. Yeah.
Sydney, thank you. Thank you for bringing that question up. And this is what I say to individuals, that you are here for a purpose. You are here for a reason. You have the credentials, you have the education, you have the knowledge. Someone invited you to be part of their team, so they saw all of that. So when I hear individuals talk about imposter syndrome, my response is that you are supposed to be here. You were invited to be here. You have the skills, you have the expertise, you have it all. So when you walk into a space, I say to individuals, own that space. That when someone sees you walk in, their eyes divert to you and they say, I want to meet Sydney. Sydney walked into this space. I want to meet Sydney because Look at her. So when we talk about, and I understand imposter syndrome, I understand it exists, but I also understand that you have the credentials, you have the skills, you have the background, you have the education. Someone invited you to be part of their team. You simply show up. You simply show up and present who you are, the expertise, the value that you bring just by speaking and showing people who you are. That's my advice.
Thank you. That's incredible.
You're welcome. You're
There
welcome.
you go, Sydney. There you go. So take up the space proudly. Yes, yes, yes. Sydney, I remember I have visions of you taking photographs in our last primary care summit, where Ben Crump was the keynote speaker, and not a hint of shyness in this girl. So it's a well-kept introvert story there, right? You're walking. Don't do that emoji.
Say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Say yes.
Yes.
There you go. Yes,
Yes.
thank you so much for your question.
Yes.
What do we have here for anything in the chat? Okay, so all these folks that put your information here, we will make sure that you get a copy of the PowerPoint. But also, if you visit us at utahahec.org, you will see the recording as soon as we get it converted and uploaded. And so that will be also a resource. I hope you don't mind, Ms. Houston. Sorry about the doctor. I want you to be comfortable with that, because here's the thing, you know, we do so many things of value, and it's hard to be, you know, present at the, you know, synchronous, you know, at the time that things are happening. And you know, I wish that more people can use it. So know that the reach of this talk will be far beyond, you know, the audience you have here.
Yes, please share. Please share. And I knew it was being recorded, and I kept thinking that I'm being a little comfortable here, because I mean, it's all about networking and making those connections. So if you need to edit anything out,
I don't think so.
Please feel free to edit as you go.
I would not take out
thank
a
you.
thing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Prubdi, you have a question?
Yeah. So I was going to ask, when we have to network with people who are out of our like professional network, for example, let's say when you want to build some interprofessional networks with people out of your arena, what are some of those tips you have for us, like when we present to them, because they might not be like-minded or be in the, you know, same path as us. So in those situations, I just wanted to know some of the tips that you have for us.
Well, thank you for asking that question. I think one of the things that we do in networking session is that we listen. We absolutely listen to the conversations that are going on. So if you and I were in a conversation and I may have said something that you would not agree with, the deep dive would be this. So Emma, tell me why you believe that. Tell me your lived experience about that. And then listen to that response. And basically, I never saw it from that perspective. That's a different viewpoint. And so we're not challenging people on their perspectives. We're listening to understand their lived experience and how they arrived there. But then let me give you my experience as to why I believe this. And so it's a give and take conversation. You ask me a question, I give you my response, and then I pause and give you the opportunity also. Now tell me why you believe this way or why you think this way. And so it's not as if we're trying to change anyone's thoughts or beliefs or behaviors. We're getting an understanding of the different lived experiences on that part. Does that make sense? Yes.
Yes, it
It's
does.
all all with that wondering, that inquisitively. How can I learn about individuals if I don't take the time to ask them about their lived experiences? Why do they believe something different than my beliefs if I do not have to take the time to understand and ask those questions? And sometimes it can be a heavy lift. And sometimes we will get a response that still does not sit well with us, and we have to remove ourselves from that space. It's okay to remove yourself from a space when someone disagrees with you and gets into a defensive mode. But you have to know who you are in order to excuse yourself, or who they are in order to excuse them as well. It's okay to excuse people for bad behavior, but we have to know who we are as well.
Thank you so much.
You're
I
welcome.
love the excusing people for bad behavior. I think you should go with some kind of a slip or something that you're right. No, I'm kidding. No, it's yeah, there's no need to take, you know, to accept bad behavior. Yes. Here you go, back at you, right? Any other questions or comments for Mr. Houston? I thought I saw somebody trying to talk, but if I talked over you, please, I apologize.
Yvette?
Yeah.
Just one more comment I would have, and hopefully Emma agrees with me, but as we're networking and being energetic and establishing connections, you have to have a little bit of a filter, because like on LinkedIn, and I've noticed it there and some other, there's some real eager beavers that over promote themselves and don't represent themselves necessarily authentically. Working in Washington, D.C. for as long as I did, there were a lot of people there with sharp elbows and were aggressive and ambitious. And you have to just have a little, I would say, your antenna out to filter out the phonies, if you know what I mean. Just it's an important, as we present ourselves, to be authentic and not overpromise or not be too shy, as Sydney was saying. But anyhow, it just, life's too short to get connections with folks who are not going to be productive and help you in your mission.
Yes, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I thought you were going toward the think thoroughly what you're gonna post, you know, about yourself and about you know, that is substantive, that it's not.
Yeah, you want to be substantive and you want to be authentic, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying that we have
It's
to be
good.
aware of people who are vigorously promoting themselves without necessarily the right reason. It's a lot of self-interest.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for the advice. Washington, D.C.
definitely-
certainly. Oof. Yeah.
That's definitely good advice, definitely. Because people will seek you out, but it's also our responsibility to do a background check, as well as who is Emma Houston, and what do people say about her, and is she authentic, and all of that. So definitely, just because someone invites you to be in conversation doesn't necessarily mean you have to accept the invitation. So thank you, David, for
Absolutely right.
sharing that.
Excellent, excellent. And you have a comment from Erica. I don't know if she's still with us, saying, thank you so much for this amazing learning opportunity, Miss Emma.
Thank you, Erica.
Yes, I'm still here, and I am right there with Sydney, that I am an introvert, and so I don't speak much, but I have taken quite a bit of pearls of wisdom, and it really resonated when you said that, you know, I am there for a purpose in the spaces that I navigate, and I oftentimes think of or hesitate or feel like I don't know how to take space, or rather how to claim the space for myself. And so this was a really great reminder that I'm there for a reason, and I need to stop doubting myself and letting that imposter syndrome get the best of me, which oftentimes does, but this was really lovely to hear. So thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Thank you. Thank you.
So it came in time for you. The message, that's fantastic. That's great. You know, I wonder how many of us are introverts. I am, and I function well in the social arena, but they say how you know that you're an introvert is that if to like recover or rebound, you need to be by yourself. And that's me. I don't even want the dog around. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's it. I went into the Pride Parade last weekend, and after it, like it took everything that I had, right? I had to like be like in seclusion almost. Not that bad, but you know, like, okay, I need time to like regenerate my energy, right? But it doesn't mean that you cannot function, you know, in social situations, and just prepare yourself and all these things, all this good advice that you gave us. So yes, we will make the PowerPoint available for sure. Okay. Well, are there any other questions, burning questions? If you're like me and you think about things after the fact and you're like, oh, I should have asked, I think she put her email right here. I'm sure she would love to entertain your questions and even comments or requests for guidance, perhaps on a one-on-one basis. And so with that, I will thank you so much for being our outstanding speaker this month. We appreciate your preparation and your well thought out PowerPoint, and really a great deal to think about, even those of us who have been out there for a long time. It's something to learn always. So thank you again, Ms. Houston. Thank you everyone for attending, and look for the recording in our YouTube channel. Okay. Bye.